let's talk about customer lifetime value for a minute. How does fraud skew that and associated attribution models?
Well, the attribution model would be easier because the lifetime of a client, technically, if it's a fraudulent visitor that's coming through, they never truly sign up for something. Now, if it's, if you're looking at just signing up for a newsletter or something like that, but they never actually pay money that doesn't get charged back. They just don't do that. So I would think in most cases, and I'm sure there's some cases I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head, it doesn't affect the lifetime value of the client. What it will affect is the attribution model,
Mm.
because you may initially get those initial hits that said, hey, Lori signed up for this offer when you didn't. And if I have that attribution attributed to, let's say, the trade desk, well, that's incorrectly done. It's a
Right.
fraudulent, it needs to be pulled from that so you can look at the true attribution model. So that's really what's going on there.
Yeah. And, the change is we're delivering all this information today to make people knowledgeable, marketers knowledgeable about what's happening, so that they can truly make the change needed and, layer in solutions that you provide so that they've got the correct data. Um, can you give us an example of where uncovering the fraud completely changed how the business allocated their marketing dollars?
Lots of examples. I have one, I don't want to mention company name, but when they first came to us, they knew they had a problem.
Mhm.
And they didn't explain how big the problem was, but their company was in jeopardy of being shut down. And when we tested their network, they had over 60% fraud,
My gosh.
which explained why they're spending all this money and they're actually losing money
Yeah.
because the more of the money was going towards fraud than it was going to real people. So for a company like that, they basically came back to us within months of helping them identify where it's coming from, how to mitigate it, how to get rid of it. And they basically told us we transformed their business. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're saving, and this is a company that spends an average of about 10 million a month in digital marketing. So you're talking about some serious dollars.
Yeah. How does this tie into, so this is interesting. We've got people listening today who are implementing integrated marketing, and we're specifically talking about the performance side, the advertising side. How does this issue tie into the larger themes of an integrated strategy?
Well, when you're putting a strategy together, you really want to get all the information. You want to know the back end conversions. You want to know the fraud rates, where they're coming from. You want to know the bounce rates. I mean, CMOs are data hounds. They want as much data as possible. So when they're building this total, game plan of how they're going to grow the company and how they're going to grow the company within a budget, they need all that data. So it's you got to have all the data.
Yeah.
That's just the only way to do it.
Okay, with that said, what are the first three questions a marketing leader should ask their team this week about fraud?
So first question is, what are we using to detect fraud? Right? If they don't have a solution, they need to get one.
Yeah.
It's the days are gone when you can do it yourself. I have lots of customers that are very smart and intelligent, but they don't have the dedicated team to just focus 100%. Usually it's like, go to the CTO, let him solve it because he's the smartest guy in the company, let him figure it out. He doesn't have the time to do it. You need a team of people. You need a data lake. You need tons and tons of data points. Like we look at trillions and trillions of visitors to be able to put together our models to make sure that we're accurate in our predictions when we identify fraud. So that's the first question is, what are you doing for fraud?
And do most DSPs provide some detection, especially for those smaller brands that might be out there and won't be able to afford a individualized system?
Yeah, so most systems, if they can afford a DSP, they can afford a solution.
Okay, good.
Solutions aren't that expensive. But the DSPs do provide a GIVT check. So it gets rid of the obvious stuff.
Mhm.
They're not, they're just the way they're set up. They're not set up to do the SIVT attack data analysis for the client. So that's something that basically the client needs to do on their own. But like I said, I think Trade Desk, each DSP has a different minimum commitment. I think the Trade Desk last I checked was like $100,000 a month in digital marketing spend.
Yeah.